This is a very interesting image just as it is, but what I feel it lacks is a dominance in the image. The sky has a lightness which draws us away from what's happening down here in the foreground, where I think is the most interesting part of the image is right in here. You got to be really careful with skies. Your eye will almost always automatically drift to the sky because it's the brightest area of the image. So you want to be careful with how much sky you include in the image. If you've got a strong, powerful sky, then you want to put more emphasis on the sky. But in this situation, we don't have that. So to start off with, the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate the image. Now, there's a lot of dark shadow detail in here where we're losing information, which I think would make the picture more interesting. So I'm going to go on up and I'm going to go to Adjust, Shadow Highlight. And we can move these sliders and we can see it's take it back down to where it was. I'm just pulling up some of that detail in that area, right down in here. And just play with the sliders. Okay, this is for the highlight. Just put a little bit more highlight detail in there. This is color. Let's just sort of just slide that around and see what you get. I like it with the greater emphasis on the reds and the saturation. This is for the midtones. I think we want some contrast in there. That's a little too flat. Now this down in here really looks like the light's dancing around. I think it's more powerful that way. And we just say OK. Now we can compare the difference just by clicking off the eyeball. And I think you can see we're adding in a lot of interesting detail down into here. So now what we want to do is deal with the crop. So I'm going to pull this down. This is the bright area up in the corner here tends to pull your eye out away from the image. So I want to get that down. I want a little bit of blue in the image. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this in just a tad so it's not quite as much of a horizontal. Okay, now if we go to our history, now we can see all this wonderful detail. It's in the foreground here and all the playing of the light on the leaves. I think it provides a much more interesting image. The other image was fine, but this has more emphasis on a particular part of the frame. Now, I still think we need to reduce the power of the sky up here because it's still a little too powerful. It's still tending to pull our eye away from here. There's lots of ways we can do this, but I'm going to do it the simplest way. I'm just going to burn it in. Use the burn tool, have it set to mid-tone, something less than 20% exposure. Make the brush a little larger. Okay. What I want to do is try and get the top half of the image a little darker, which will tend to force our eye down into the bottom half of the image and provide more emphasis on this part. You see how that's pushing the eye down into that area now. Just look and see what if we just add in brightness and contrast layer. Let's tweak these a little bit to see if we can get a little bit more punch in there. I really like your images. I enjoy your work. I think you do a fantastic job of capturing all this detail. I just think if you decided if the emphasis was going to be on the sky or on the foreground, in some cases your skies are powerful and your foregrounds also are powerful, but we don't see them as much because the skies overpower them. But that's a personal decision. I mean, this is just an observation. I hope you are comfortable with me doing this. Let me know how you feel about it.